and fullback is Rick Burke. John Jarvie and Ross Harrington on the wings, with Mark Ross and Ken Wright the centres. George Longbottom playing 5/8 and Craig Coleman half. Then the forwards are Mackie, Gibbs, Simpkins, Smith, Stewart and Davidson. Lead up, Cochrane, Carey, Hegarty, Windshuttle, Blake, Meredith, Chisholm, Walker, McMillan, Atkins, Kelly, Lennon and Jart.
But the other boy is a very good player.
Yeah, well, I've always thought that Stewart was an outstanding player. He's a good defender around the rucks. He's a good runner from dummy half, good passer of the ball, and you know, he's one of those players that's certainly going to be a big plus for South Sydney in a game like this, which is obviously going to be tight.
Plus, he's very strong and vigorous. That's one of the things in these sorts of games. You've got to be strong and be able to handle a lot of the tough stuff, and he's very strong.
Here's Ken Wright now.
Gee, he's played a lot of football on this ground, Ray. Rugby union for Australia, rugby league, eastern suburbs, etc.
Stewart, Coleman, Stewart, Smith. Met by Walker and Atkins. Hope you're enjoying our live presentation of Grand Final Day 1983. There's still a whole lot more to come, plus the uninterrupted coverage of the Grand Final itself. The bomb by Craig Coleman. Underneath it is Cochrane. And he's put it down behind him. There's a chance on for the Rabbits. A really good chance on for South. Jarvie! Jarvie has scored! John Jarvie has scored for South Sydney. A mistake from the bomb by Mal Cochrane. See it on the replay.
Well, you can see here the benefit of a well-placed kick. Coleman put the ball up in the air with the breeze. It floated towards the goal line. Cochrane probably didn't get all the protection that he would have liked. Went up for the ball, wasn't able to hold it. South Sydney recovered the loose ball. Excellent pass by Mark Ross, then to Nathan Gibbs, and all he had to do was slip the ball to Jarvie, who went over unopposed in the corner.
Cochrane was placed under a lot of pressure there by the South Sydney people coming through. It was very good work by the chasers, actually. See, there were three guys there, put him under a lot of pressure, and that's what happens when you haven't got your own protection from your own players.
So South Sydney take first points and lead by 4 points to 0.
There's play on the one side, and they're going to spread the ball back blind side, such as they are now, as often as possible.
Meredith, short ball for Cochrane.
Exactly, Bill. That's Michael Blake would have been running at Peter Smith then, and that's what that Manly attack were looking for. Yes. A centre running at a prop forward.
Yeah, well, the two South Sydney centres are playing on the...
Chisholm! Chisholm's gone through, stands in the last tackle. Souths have come up with it.
My word, that was a try went begging, purely through lack of support. Great break by Chisholm, came to the fullback, a good last...
Kelly just outside the 22, his own end of the ground. Chisholm switching the point of the attack back to Cochrane to kick. Burke. Burke, good run by him. Jarvie, inside the 22.
Well, it's all well and good to kick the ball, but after the kick you've got to chase and then you've got to contain, and Manly weren't able to do that on that occasion. South Sydney have run the ball back to where it was kicked from, and now here's a great break by Longbottom.
Longbottom's tackle just 10 metres out. 7 minutes from half-time. Now it's Coleman. This is Wright. Inside ball there for Mark Ross. Coleman, Stewart, Coleman. Picked up by Simpkins. Simpkins heading for the Paddington Hill corner. That's Harrington. Oh, yes! Harrington has scored. Robert Simpkins took off in an arc-like run, and Harrington, he mustn't have had very much room to work in down that touchline. Here's the replay.
Well, Robert Simpkins is a player who has played first grade for South Sydney as a centre, and here he showed all the speed of a centre. He ran wide from this ruck, was able to draw the Manly winger in, and of course that meant that he gave his winger Harrison a little bit of room to move. Carey was unable to make the tackle, and that's a great start for Souths.
Here it is on the head-on. I'm just wondering how close he was to that corner post, Max Crilly.
He was very close, but I tell you, it's a very fine try by Harrington. It's, well, in fact, I think young Phil Carey should have got hold of him. He's just tried to bundle him over the sideline, see, and he should have made sure of the tackle before trying to hurt the man. I think he missed him badly.
So Harrington feels the thrill of taking a try in a grand final, and sent by Ken Stewart. Now it's Jart.
He's always taking 3 men to stop him, Jowett. It's going to take its toll in the second half, that. of the South defence, making 3 men tackle him all the time.
Oh, that was a savage hit on Martin Meredith by Davidson. When I say savage, it was a blockbuster. Here's the replay of the hit as Manly have used up their tackle count. The turnover's taken place, and there's the siren. And Phil Carey for Manly is... he's getting up now. And there's Jarrett.
Okay. Don't leave the football now.
Here's Blake. Michael's cut down about 11 metres out.
Very important tackle there by Greg Mackey.
Now it's to Meredith. Stepping off the left foot and projecting play back to the right of the field. Chisholm throws the dummy, then he throws the pass, and it's been bombed, this try. Gee, I thought Rick Chisholm could have scored himself.
Well, there won't be anything fancy here from South Sydney. We'll see them take the ball up for 4 or 5 tackles, looking for a small gain, but most importantly hanging onto the ball, and then they'll drive the ball downfield. Their chasers will try and contain Manly in their own half.
Ken Wright, 30 metres out. There's one of Parramatta's legends,
Westy,
the big bear, Bob O'Reilly, being sought by the autograph hunters. Right, up the flank, infield pass, look forward to Mackey, down to Longbottom. Now, linking up is Coleman, across the field, through Simpkins. It's gone on, through Davidson. Ross has gone inside the 22 line.
And once again, we see that huge gun.
So as you come back to the grand final of the reserve grade, the Manly side has finally been able to crack South Sydney. And here's the replay of the try as it happened just 15 seconds ago.
It was a well-planned try. Well-planned try, this by Manly. They took play to the left-hand side of the field, stretched south, then quickly moved it back to the right-hand side. And, of course, there's that man, Atkins. He certainly can make a break and went in for a vital try.
That's the replay of it. Head on, Brett Atkins picking up the 4 points for Manly. Extreme pressure was mounted by the Seasiders on South, and eventually they got that opening they were looking for. And Hegarty will take the kick at goal from about 15 metres in. Breeze at his back. Looks very much as they might have gone to school on Michael Eden's style of goal kicking. Plenty of height and curling around beautifully. That's a good kick.
Well, that makes it interesting now. The score 8-6 in favour of the South Sydney backs. Are starting to get their act together, and that spells disaster for Manly, because they're getting very slow to reform in defence.
Ken Wright putting up the bomb, but there were no followers. And Cochrane takes it out for Manly beyond the 22, beyond the 32. He's up to the 45.
And that's another example of it's not just kicking the ball that's important in rugby league. It's kicking the ball and then chasing and making that first up tackle. If you allow the receiver to make yards, you might as well not have kicked the ball.
Mark Ross just into Manly's area. Coleman, Gibbs, Nathan Gibbs, that's a good piece of football, sending Rick Burke down inside the 22 line, taken by Chisholm. Jarvie was on his outside, but Burke was carrying the ball in the right hand, and he found it impossible to pass and protect at the same time. Short ball from Ken Wright, sending Robert Simpkins ahead. Now back to Stewart, the stretch to the left out to Gibbs. Gibbs is galloping inside the 10. He's taken about 8 metres out from the Manly line. Pass from Rick Burke to Craig Coleman to George Longbottom, out to Ken Wright. Wright throws it over the top. Harrington's looking for his second try, not held. That's a try for mine. He'll give it. It's a try to South Sydney. Try scored by Ross Harrington, his second of the day. Ross Harrington is the try scorer.
Well, the South Sydney wingers are the ones doing all the damage. Jarvie scored a try, and that's Harrington's second. That was good fundamental football by South. The ball went across the line to Ken Wright. The Manly winger came into effect the tackle, and a lob pass saw Harrington, resulting in the try in the corner.
Well, again, the Manly winger, Phil Carey, seems to be sucked in from his wing max.
Yes, he's gone in to take the outside centre. Now, winger must stay with winger, and see that the ball over his head, and that's just, he should have had him all the same there. He's let him go, but he shouldn't have been out there trying to tackle the outside centre. That's the other fellow's job. He should stay with his winger.
So Harrington picks up his second try. That's South Sydney's third, and just outside 5 minutes of the reserve grade grand final to go. And then the build-up to the big one will get underway. It's just outside 60 minutes to the start of the first grade. But the promotion that will come before the kick-off will be, I'm sure, quite unbelievable. Long bottom.
That's the sort of football that Bill was talking about. No nonsense sort of football. All he had to do is find touch and then make the halfback feed the ball correctly.
Timeout has been called for Ken Stewart. Let's take you down to Graham Hughes again. He's with one of rugby league's former greats.
The federal opposition leader, Andrew Pick.
Watching the main clock, and it certainly looked like it had 30 seconds to go, but it's all over. Souths have defeated Manly in the reserve grade grand final by 12 points to 6. 3 tries, no goals. 2 by Harrington, 1 by Jarvie. And for Manly, Brett Atkins a try, with Steve Hegarty kicking 1 goal. This break and then back. Souths are the reserve grade champions for 1983. 12 points to 6. Saints winning third grade, 9 to 6. So 2 of the really great clubs in this city of ours have taken out the minor grades. As we now stand by for the start of the Battle of 1983, the one that everyone predicted, and I think it will live up to all the expectations of rugby league followers the length and breadth of Australia. Presentation of trophies about to take place in association with the reserve grade.
Thank you. It's certainly a great feeling to be up in the weather skies on the grand final day.
Yes, the Prime Minister of Australia, Mr. Bob Hawke,